bookkeeping of some kind that would spell out exactly how the money really was spent, the reality of what happened?
Yeah.
That would be the actual budget. So there's the, at the end of the year, you have the whole budget proposed plus the actual, what was spent and where it was spent. And what
And then
was.
it has all
It's all
line
listed,
items
yeah.
and,
You're looking for an actual with line
But
items.
there is a financial report that comes out with each board of
That's what I
supervisors
heard.
meeting.
Yeah, each
Yeah.
meeting, there's a
Right.
treasurer's.
but I'm not concerned about each meeting, I'm concerned about what the budget was and what the end result was, say for 2024.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, because I'm really interested in what the final number is, say for instance last year, because that's come and gone.
Mhm.
You know, and I looked a little bit on this site, but I really wasn't quite sure if I was seeing exactly what I was looking at. But that was my other question. If I had a question regarding that, could I talk to one of the auditors, internal or external?
I think you would talk to
You
Linda.
probably
the
talk to the
treasurer.
treasurer.
Mhm.
Linda?
She does all the finances.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll get her
So you can
number
call
from
her
you.
email.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I looked through some of what was listed on the website, and I don't want to speak in a public forum without talking to someone to clarify exactly what I was looking at, if what I'm seeing is reality. So I would really like to talk to the
Just reach out.
treasurer or one of the auditors or someone like that that could explain a little bit to me. But I'm interested in just seeing how all this works.
Just reach out.
Yeah.
Any other public comment? Moving along. Meeting minutes for February 7th, 2024, February 14th, 2024, February 22nd, 2024, March 6th, 2024. These are all the ones in question, or just 3 sets?
These are the 4 sets that haven't been approved, but I'm not sure you were going to because there were so many discussions on them, there was never an agreement.
Right. There is, I would like to be able to review that this week. I mean, there was so much other stuff that got handed to us this week. I didn't have a chance to sit and review every last one of these while I was doing everything else.
So look, the comments that I have about these minutes, there are public comments that were made that are not, some of them, like the first pass of the January 7th or February 7th minutes completely omitted Don Cabot's comments. There were comments in here about the schoolhouse discussion that were summarized into a paragraph. There are minutes in here for the special meeting on February 22nd. The motions are inaccurate. I voted no on both of those.
Okay, and so when I do them, that's why I send them for your review, so
Right.
review it and maybe it's something I missed, but that's what it's reviewed for you to reply back.
Right, and I did. So,
Okay, and we fix that.
anyway,
Was it fixed? Well, let's just not gloss over, it. Was it
Yeah.
repaired, fixed? Did you
I was
have a
supposed
chance
to
to
be-
I
look
Which
at
one?
it?
I was
think,
too-
I think the
I was-
Is
reversion
it the
of,
one where I said Sean abstained
there
from
was,
voting? 'Cause
there
you
was
didn't
one where I marked as voting for it that I did not, and there's one that I voted no, where it said I abstained.
Okay, I believe I fixed.
Or I'm
all
sorry,
of them.
no, I voted, it says I abstained where I voted no.
Okay, that one went, I know we
Right.
changed to 2-1.
Two.
I can't remember which one that was, the 22nd.
Are the ones with his corrections in here?
Yep, everything that is in red
Okay,
is.
so which one are we talking about here?
Well, if you
We
start
got
with
214,
2-7,
so 2,
but why don't you start with 2-7? Start with the first one. I can tell you, I am fine with the Don Cabot comments added that you haven't read on yours, Sean. I have no issue with that. What I thought was excessive, as I said in my email back to you today, was all the 3 pages, the excessive
That's the one on 2.
other comments,
Which is-
Right.
where I think
February.
and just so that everybody knows what we're thinking about doing,
That's
what we,
yours.
Okay.
what we went through,
You're looking at the wrong
with one of the drafts, and it's now on this 2-7 one, is,
one. They're the ones that
since
Sean-
Kate is
Yeah.
recording all of the meetings,
Right,
is-
so-
the minutes should be summarized. We had Kate and Ken, we reviewed what is required by PSATs in the meeting minutes. But we've decided to add in the time on the audio recording. So if you want to hear the discussion, you can go online, go to the audio recording and fast forward to the time so that you don't have to listen, but we'll direct you to it. So in that case, where if you want to see if you wanted to hear in full the comments related to the schoolhouse, that minute marking would be there, and you may go listen to the full comments. But to try to put it all in a Word document is just excessive time for Kate. But I understand what you're saying, there are good topics that were discussed, especially about the schoolhouse. And that's why I suggested if you wanted to summarize them and say, these are the 3 topics that were discussed about the schoolhouse, then somebody could go and hear further commentary. But to put everybody's verbatim words in here seems excessive.
Well, look, I mean, we were following, as far as I recall, following PSAT's requirements for the minutes previously, and they're described as cliff notes.
So what was described as cliff notes was, and it's not PSAT's guidelines, this is the Sunshine Act that
Fair
we're
enough.
talking about. And what it was a brief synopsis, some things were omitted, but there was nowhere for anybody to go and reference them. So we were taking this brief overview and not having anywhere to go to listen to the full context. Kind of like what Ms. Fisher said in the beginning here, we would come here and nobody really knew what was going on. It's a brief statement and that's it, see y'all next week.
Well, I think it's
So
back
there's
to,
no
I think it's
audio
back to
file to go
Mr.
listen to.
Carafa's explanation that the topic would be brought up, the 3 of you would vote, all 3 would vote yay, so there was nothing to even put in the document or even hear on a video because you just read the motion and approved it.
The minutes were described as cliff notes. They were acceptable minutes. So it sounds like we wanted additional information, and now it seems like we don't want to have that information in it, is what my concern is.
Actually, we went over the top and gave more information. We gave a whole reporting for that.
Right.
So if you realize, in the email that we were changing back and forth here this week, I stated that the calls about the cliff notes stopped when the audio files got posted, because then people could go in and find out what you were really talking about. What most people didn't still care for was, there was no dialogue like there is now. Nobody knew what we were talking about. Some things were done by a resolution and all right, see you bye. Now there's dialogue. We're actually talking with everybody. Anybody has a question, you come up, you ask it, it's pretty clear. But for me to sit here and write down every single thing that Mr. Jones says, or Mr. Murray says, or Mr. Cabot, Mr. Buckman.
Right. These are
Kate would be
public
here for
comments.
6 weeks.
These are public comments. Are they being recorded properly in these minutes?
Yeah. So whenever I go through the Sunshine Act, and you have it too, Sean.
Well,
Kate
so
emailed it to
can
you
I
as well.
define public comment? So we allow a public comment period at the beginning, right? That's a public comment period. If a resident asks a question while we're having a discussion, is that considered a public comment? Because it's not a public comment period.
So
Because
when,
that could be just a,
we had the discussion, Kevin and Dave wanted to make a public comment about the schoolhouse, and you asked them to hold it until the discussion, and then those comments were not included in these minutes.
Okay.
They were recorded as a summary.
Okay, so it's a summary, and now you can go and view it at that time. So that's what it says in the Sunshine Act.
It refers to
Now, it should have
audio
been in there.
recordings.
If it wasn't in there, that's wrong. It should have been Mr. Murray spoke, or I'm gonna assume you're talking about Mr. Hanson, Dave. It should have said in there, Mr. Hanson spoke, Mr. Murray spoke. I agree with you. It should have referenced that. But we have an audio file that everybody can go listen to. I don't know who here would think that Kate is here to take dictation. We would have to hire somebody else. My job is to cut wasteful spending, and I'm not gonna do that. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna keep this audio file there, and as soon as we get through some of this stuff here, we're gonna put a camera here. You will not get any more transparent than that. And we've all agreed to have that. So I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. If there was something said that wasn't put here, it surely should have been referenced. I agree.
Okay.
And if it wasn't, I'm sorry, Ms. Kate. We
No,
could just
that's
tell her
fine,
and she would
but
make sure it gets put in.
To my
I'm sure.
defense, that's why I send these out ahead of
Right.
time for you to review. If you see something that you think is missing, reply back, I mean.
Absolutely.
You haven't replied to much, so I haven't, you say you don't agree with what's in the minutes, but then you don't reply
I
and
gave
tell
you
me
guys-
what you want in them.
I gave you guys my feedback, and then I've seen these emails all day for the last 3 days, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, about these minutes.
Were you on the emails?
Oh, I was on them.
Okay, so you could have put input in.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do,
I
and an
gave
email
input.
crosses your phone.
I gave input when I could, okay? The other thing is, I still haven't been able to finish through the March 6th minutes, because we don't have any audio to reference back to.
So you were given an audio link from Ms. Kate.
No, I wasn't, not that one.
That's not, you asked for the solicitor interviews.
They're not on the
is what he
website. What's going on with the website? We're gonna talk- I
Well,
know we're
let's
gonna talk about
tackle
the
one,
website later.
come on, stop. Well, of course we are. But let's back up here. So what meeting, what audio were you looking for? So you can't approve the March 6th because you haven't had time to review it. That's okay, we can pump
Mhm.
that another week. We'll get you that file. That's not a big deal. We're in a transition mode. Again, we're trying to cut waste. So we went live with the other website. Triscari's a little bit behind. He assured me by Friday these would all be there. Friday came and went and they weren't there. But at 9:30 at night before Easter, he did call and tell me he was working on a bunch of things. And he didn't feel like he got everything he should have from our previous vendor. I worked with him in doing a scrape of our previous website. We scraped 3 or 4 different times. Each time we got different things. Not everything was complete the first time. It's how it goes.
Mhm.
A little bit of a hiccup. But we'll get you this file.
But the
Because
video's
I'm sure
always
we still
available
have
on
it, correct?
YouTube. You could watch the video instead of listening to the recording.
I'm not interested in going to that YouTube channel.
Okay, so that's fine. But did
So
you ask
you're-
Ms.
You're a
Kate
little
for it?
inflexible
You
with
can
making
email
sure.
me and I
Okay.
can give it to you.
Did
Well,
you
I
email
thought-
and ask for
I
it?
wasn't aware that
Did
you
you
needed.
email and
I
ask
was
for it?
waiting for this website to
But did
get
you email
fixed.
and ask for it?
I didn't, you're telling me it's gonna be online. You emailed me back and said, watch the website.
But you then emailed and asked for the solicitor interviews.
I
So you were interested in the one but not the other.
I'm interested in all of them,
Well, then why didn't you ask for it?
because by the time I got through all the other content, what am I gonna do? What? I'm gonna review it here at the 11th hour?
No, I think what
And-
we'll
and
do is
go
we'll make
through
sure
all
you
of
get it
this,
after this meeting right
All
here.
of this?
I think we can make sure you get it after this meeting, Sean, but you've had ample time to ask for it.
Yeah.
You have. So Ms. Kate, after this meeting, could you expeditiously get Mr. Frisco that, please?
Okay.
And then we'll approve those March 6th meeting minutes.
Okay.
What do you want to do about February 7th? Otherwise the draft has to go up. I think right?
No, there is
You
no
guys
more
had had a
watermark.
discussion on not putting drafts up before, and you agreed
Talked
not
to
to do that.
PSAS today about the watermark, bad idea,
Okay.
bad idea. Once they're approved, that's when we should put them up. If not, the same thing can be accomplished, fodder can be had, we're just not gonna walk that mile.
Mr. Chairman,
Excuse me?
I said, Mr. Chairman,
Oh,
may I make one brief comment as far as these minutes go? Because I hear Sean saying something, he wants Mr. Cabot's statement, I don't know, read in verbatim or whatever he wants, his spin on it or whatever he wants to put into minutes, I don't know. But we have a recording that states what he said, and people can listen to it. Back after the first time, I guess 21, when Mr. Landman ran, as constable, I came into the meeting and I asked specifically for my comments to be read into the minutes verbatim. And what was put in the minutes, Sean? Your little brief synopsis of what you wanted it to say. It was nothing what was said.
Okay.
But there's no recording to say that now. To say that back then, I have written down what was said.
Okay.
But you're afraid to let the people hear it said, because some of your people you have come in here make an ass out of themselves.
well, listen, moving forward, what we're gonna
I'm
do,
done.
it'll all be there, and this shouldn't be an issue.
Right. So look, when we were talking about these public comments and this back and forth, there was a thing that was brought up. We talked about, let's see here, Bill Carafa, and there was an accusation made about I guess some kind of complaint was filed, and you say you didn't do anything wrong. I just want to let you know that I think what I had heard is that the report was that he was admonished, which means, let me see here, pretty much left off with a warning. Doesn't mean he didn't do anything wrong.
What are you
Just letting you know.
That's
So
not,
wait,
that's not what took place.
You sure?
do you,
Yep.
hold on a second, stop. Do you have the document in front of you?
I do not.
Okay, so what you're saying is what I heard, so now
Don't
you're gonna hear what
slam me here.
hearsay is a board of supervisor.
Yeah.
Let's not do stupid stuff like this. Let's do the township business.
Look at them.
This is ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna move forward, we're done with this. Childish. So February 7th, Ms. Fisher, where were we with February 7th?
I don't think we can, I approved the minutes the way that they were. Sean is providing comments, so I think until we get the timestamps on all of them, I know we did it for the 2/7 was a sample, right, to show all the timestamps?
Yes.
I think in light of Sean wanting more commentary, us not wanting to burden Kate with typing up, 20-page minutes, I think we just need to make sure that all the timestamps are done
I agree.
on the minutes, and that way, if you really wanna hear the commentary, please go to the audio, you can hear it all for yourself. What I would suggest is let's make sure that if you are making commentary in the room, that you are speaking clearly, and that you are speaking in a tone or a manner that can actually be picked up by the audio, so, cause I noticed when I watched some of the videos, I know that the camera's in the back of the room, some people I hear great and other people I don't. So just make sure that for all purposes, you speak clearly so that any audio recording can pick up your voice.
Identify yourself.
Basically. So basically what I think
But so if we can get that for the minutes,
I agree.
the timestamps, and then they don't have to be as long and people can listen to the recording themselves.
I think it's a great idea. So do you have a problem with that, Sean? This synopsis and working with the audio file and having the timestamp where everybody can go view this? I don't have a
I
problem
think
with
it's fine. I thought the minutes were
Okay.
fine before, but they were described as cliff notes.
without the audio, correct?
Right.
Okay, so now there's audio, you're fine with it. All right, so Ms. Kate, in the future, can we go ahead and please
Not
add?
necessarily.
Not the future, all of them.
The minutes
current
are the
minutes.
record of what happens at the
Yes.
meeting. The audio is not.
So the minutes have to be in accordance with the Sunshine Act.
Right.
So what are we to do? Would you like to approve these 2/7 meeting minutes that
Have
have
the
the time
timestamps?
denotion on it?
I'd say no.
Okay, so are you gonna then, you're not gonna approve, or you provided comments on your 2/7
I mean,
before
look,
the timestamps were done.
We can go and we can, summarize these a little bit more,
Mhm.
these comments, but I mean, I think the general feel for what needs to be in here, and as much as if somebody's making a public comment, I think it needs to be in there. And, I mean,
I think
we're,
we need to fully define
Look,
public comment.
part of the
I hate
other
to
thing
say
is,
that, but is
with
public
these-
comment the heading of the meeting at the beginning? Because I think to your point, if we asked somebody to hold public comment to a later discussion, because we were gonna be covering that topic, then likely that's still considered a public comment, it should be. But then when we have discussion, I don't think we're gonna say, oh, Rick Buckman said this, and, Mr. Jones said this. I don't think
I
we're
mean,
gonna.
this is, so these meetings, you're looking at having a public meeting between the Board of Supervisors. This is a meeting between the three of us,
Mhm.
okay? You have public comment at the beginning of the meeting, and you can open these agenda items to public comment. And it helps with the organization of these minutes and everything else that goes on at these meetings. So that's what I'm saying. Like, these things have been less organized than they probably could be for recording your minutes.
So you're gonna give another stab at trying to shorten them a little bit, or?
I'm not taking any more time at it. I've spent hours putting this already together, so.
Well, if his is factually correct, which I'm assuming it is,
I
I'm
think
assuming
I
you
would
said you.
go through and review it in case there's something in there that is not accurate. I mean, I did my best, there's a lot of content.
There's a lot of spelling errors, but I didn't review all of that.
That's what word's for.
So you are requesting the verbatim?
I'm not, Kate. I can't ask you to do this every month.
Well, the question is,
I mean, what's the sense in having the audio file on the website at all for them?
That's what people are trying to get to, so it's not there.
What do you need?
Minutes are supposed to just be an overview of what was said. That's what minutes of a meeting are all about. I was
No,
in
but I-
business for almost 50 years.
oh, but there is a Sunshine Act. I think what Sean's really
Yeah.
hitting on is
is
the definition of public comment. Because it does say in the Sunshine Act, for a public comment, you have to indicate who said it and what they said.
It was a brief overview.
So when we allow
It's
discussion,
a brief
Yeah.
overview of the discussion.
and a public resident makes a comment, is that considered a public comment? And in that case, then Sean's probably right. You have to make every note that the public made a comment. And that's what we probably need to
So
clarify.
this
Is
is,
that
from our
considered a public
solicitor, it
comment?
flat out says, Kate is correct. Per the Sunshine Law, minutes must include the name of any resident who makes a comment and the subject or substance of those comments. They are not to be a verbatim transcript, nor a detailed summary. That comes from the Sunshine Act. That's what's gonna go into these meeting minutes. If not, I'm gonna pay this young lady to sit over there and basically write dictation all day long, which I'm sure she doesn't wanna do that. That's not what she's hired to do, and I'm not gonna bring someone on to do dictation for you.
Mm-hmm.
We have audio file on there because Ms. Tackett and you and everybody else thought that that was what was gonna help this community, and it is. I stand by we're gonna post these meeting minutes with those on there, with the donation of the time on there, and it's gonna be exactly what the Sunshine Act says. It's gonna be a summary of what was said. We're not gonna sit here and say every single word that Don Cabot says, or Mr. Hanson, or Mr. Buckman, or Mr. Jennings. We would have 10 pages here, and it's not fair to her. We have other township business that needs to be done, and that's what we should do. Again, the Cliff Notes were just that, without the audio file backup. If the audio was there, nobody would have anything to say. That's what it should say. So I didn't go through and read all this. And I can't sit here and do every single thing that I've been doing, and then sit here and read a 10-page novel before I come into this meeting to say I approve this.
Mm-hmm.
Just not gonna happen. Is that something you wanna do, Miss Kate, on a weekly basis?
What, dictation?
Yeah. Right,
I think by making them so verbose, we're also opening ourselves up for errors.
exactly,
Because
exactly.
that would be a concern too.
So the audio's on there, I agree with what you said. I didn't want to reference Mr. Nolan's videos back there, although the views have picked up. They are not a township video. They're not for the township, I can't reference that. Mr.
No.
Nolan could edit that, right? And it wouldn't be fair to anybody in this room for me to take that chance. Now, he's never done that, but I wouldn't want to take that chance.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather take the chance on having my own video camera here